Hello everyone, my name is TheMadScorpyon and welcome to another reset update for the week of April the 8th. I am getting all my dates mixed up, I still almost said March. So getting into it, there is no event, Iron Banner has officially passed. There is a booster for Crucible rewards right now, but aside from that, there was a slight update of a patch that had few enough details that I'll just go ahead and take care of that now before heading into the Nightfall itself. To start with the patch, we had some fixes for the Vespers host dungeon, where they fixed an issue where panels for Access Override Puzzle number 3 were immune and preventing progress. For weapons, they fixed an issue where the regular versions of both the Palindrome and Lotus Eater would drop with double perks, now should only be adept weapons. For perks in general, they also fixed an issue where reloading weapons with Runneth Over trait would eventually cause Destiny 2 to run out of memory. And lastly, the artifact fixed an issue where 2 Shreds was errantly buffing any ability damage. 2 Shreds, you say, tisk, tisk, tick. Now into the Nightfall for this week. To the EDZ we go for this week's Nightfall, as we do have the Lake of Shadows, which in perspective of the regular isn't going to be too difficult, but in terms of the Grandmaster, will certainly have some pressure points that you will have to work on as a team. Keep in mind things like the Chimera, as well as the very small room with the Tormentor, which previous memory says that at least the Tormentor, that could be bullied and suspended, blinded, frozen, but I'm not so certain in this day and age at the GM level that it is still bullyable. However, there is the Chimera that has a lot more health than what it would suggest, and not to mention a very dangerous attack that we'll have to stay far away from if you want to do it. And even when staying far away, a few waves of ads makes it really hard to actually keep in line with this Chimera. But then getting into the back end, it is still quite the small field. I think there is still the cheesy get out of map area with the Lake of Shadows final boss arena. But if you do not do it, you will be in a bit of a heck of a ride because, again, small arena, not a lot of cover, lots of ads to spawn in between. So if you're looking for just a completion, not too terrible. But if you're looking to farm, maybe not the best choice. And speaking of maybe not the best choice, there is the Rake angle for weapons. Now keep in mind, I still haven't really used this dedicatedly. I haven't really touched glaives myself. Just personally, I don't think that so far this has been the, oh my god, this is worth getting the god roll type weapon. Not like maybe Palindrome would be this season, or Lotus Eater maybe, but at the same time, per the usual, as I always say, if you like it or if you have reasons to go for it, I fully say go for it if you wish. I just wouldn't say if you are a random person looking for a better gun, or essentially are looking to grind an adept weapon, I wouldn't say this is the one worth spending all your time this weekend. Now time to check in with the Crucible side. As the Iron Banner has ended, we will be back to the regularly scheduled trials during the weekend. And in addition to that, there is, like I mentioned before, the rewards booster currently active for everything Crucible related. Then getting into the variety of modes, for labs we have Checkmate Mix, which if I recall, Checkmate was basically just a reworked sandbox temporary game mode. Then 3v3 has the usual competitive, as well as 4v4 having lockdown, and 6v6 having control and clash for some of our rotations and basic Crucible modes. And now to get into our weekly featured farming raids and dungeons. Doing our best to keep it short and sweet, we have the King's Fall and Garden of Salvation raids on the front end of farmable raids. Both of these actually are in a good spot where they have red border weapons to farm out for, as well as the master mode for at least King's Fall to farm out in case you wish to get some adept weaponry or otherwise focused armor for some drops. But at the same time, in perspective, the Garden of Salvation has an exotic that is quest related, and the King's Fall has an exotic that is drop related. So the main thing to go for would be red borders for the regular raider, but in the essence of King's Fall, this is the only time you'll have access to the master mode. So if you wish to grind out for the title or just, like I said before, adepts or otherwise anything related, this is the only time you can do so, so I'd recommend jumping on that. The same cannot be said for Garden of Salvation, as it was made before the time of master raids were a thing, and it is still a little bit in the past. But then into dungeons, we have Spire of the Watcher and the Shattered Throne, which, speaking of the past, just to put it blankly, the Shattered Throne is in a fairly similar state of the Garden of Salvation, but instead, there is no red border weapons to get, not to mention the weapons available aren't exactly exclusive, as you can find them anywhere in the Dreaming City, and the weapon itself that drops is essentially a quest-related one, so you won't get it from random drops and don't need to farm, you just need to do it once or twice for the quest. But in perspective, the only thing really worth it in terms of Shattered Throne would be the pinnacle at the end of the rainbow if you were hunting pinnacles. The opposite can be said of Spire of the Watcher. because it does have some definitely solid enough weapons. It has a pretty nifty exotic that with the catalyst can go burr, essentially, and the master mode for this one is available, which basically means artifice armor is available from here, as well as the catalyst I just mentioned. So there is many different things you could go for in terms of Spire of the Watcher as well. Like I mentioned, master mode is only available during this time, so again, catalyst, triumphs, any other reasons you need, this is the only reason to go into, or if this is the only reason you've been waiting for Spire of the Watcher to be featured, this is currently active. And speaking of currently active, we do have for our exotic mission, the Presage exotic mission rewarding the Dead Man's Tale exotic scout rifle, featuring many different random rolls as well as craftables. So in case you wish to get a lever action rifle your style, you can go for that. As well as any of the crafted weapons from Season of the Haunted, which included some of the reprised menagerie weapons in total, or I should say in tandem of that. So that is always there in case you need to finish your collections of some red borders nowadays. Then getting into the raid featured challenges, starting at the top, we have for Garden of Salvation, we have the at capacity. Crota's End is once again not active, so not featuring a challenge mode until it is featured. Root of Nightmares is Cosmic Equilibrium. The King's Fall is King's Fall, so once again all active, infinitely farmable. Valor Disciple is Looping Catalyst, aka Rolk Challenge. Vault of Glass is Ensemble's Refrain, aka Atheon Challenge. Deepstone Crypt is Copies of Copies, which is Atrax Challenge. Garden of Salvation being featured, once again, all active at once. And the last wish is the Keep Out Challenge. And to wrap it up, for armor focusing and master modes, King's Fall is offering recovery focused armor and Salvation's Edge is offering resilience focused armor. Now into our seasonal challenges for the week. Per the usual, we begin with the basic of do the weekly story for the featured season, and that is Act 3, Part 2 of Crossed Blades. Then the Heretical Arsenal is hitting fusion rifles this time, requiring defeated combatants with fusion rifles in bonuses from heresy activities, and this rewards you with the Afterlight that has the additional origin trait. The Fusion or Trace Rifle Final Blows, very simple name there. Defeating combatants with fusion or trace rifles. Additional progress granted in heresy activities or defeating other guardians per the usual. Just give Vexman the class, it should go fine. Words. Next one, Super Final Blows, another self-explanatory one. Defeat combatants with supers anywhere in the system. Usual bonuses for heresy or guardians. Then special delivery with final blows from any special ammo weapon in any ritual activity. The Trial by Firing Squad for winning multiple rounds in the Trials of Osiris. Doesn't have to win a match, just have to be winning individual rounds. And the mid-range calibration for calibrating mid-range weapons, including hand cannons, glaives, auto rifles, fusion rifles, and machine guns. And always bonus progress for defeated guardians. Now to cover our cosmetics in the Eververse. For the Eververse store this week, there actually are a fair number of things. We'll have to rotate to other characters just to show off some of the other included items right now. But to start, with our Titan at least, on the front page we have two shaders, old Destiny style, Mercury Vex Chrome, all the way back from Season 2, which isn't half bad. It's a little bit of a simplistic, I would say desert camo style if you wish to look like you blend in with a desert. And then we also have the Viced Poison Shimmer, which is kind of a metallic greenish tealish. It doesn't really say poison, but that shimmer is certainly there. But then next is the champion entrance from Season of Arrivals, where not when champions are first introduced, but one of the feature. Oh, that's an issue. And we are back after a slight Weasel disconnect issue, but back at it, we have the champion entrance from Season of Arrivals. And getting into the first of the big tier items, we have an ornament from just this last season of Revenant. This one is for Titans, the Actium War Rig ornament of Keep It Clean. Personally, I do like the design, but I still like the original of Actium War Rig best, as you might notice that my Titan runs basic vanilla War Rig almost all the time. But next is the Circling Sharks emote, which, just to give you an idea, I'll let this play, but I will rotate to the two other characters to show which representative armor ornaments each one has, as they are specific to each and every class, so they always have something to buy. Next, into flares, we have Iridescent Coral, which is to say another one that looks very oceany, but also another bright shimmering one. Then we also have the Polished She Stone, almost a similar case, less shiny, a little bit more sea, but some greens in addition to darker deep blues. Then we also have Gloam Strife, which is just kind of this is one of those ones that's been around a lot, but I literally don't know if I've ever seen anyone use it. Comment down below if you actually have, I'm curious. Then next is the Whispered Sheen from Season of the Plunder, which is basically a nice brown, gold, and red, if you wish to look a little bit more like a privateer. Then into Transmatch, we have the Rasputin reboot, which is one of the most popular ones I still see nowadays. the Virtuous entrance, which is, say, a Vault of Glass Oracle-style entrance. Then the Purple Ghost Purple, which is basically just another one of the random emotes from Vanilla Destiny that you never used. They recolored and made it legendary. Next, for zoning out, basically the person that just, you know, zones out and wanted a bit of representation. That just kind of ends, unfortunately. Next is for the Titans, the Harrier ornament for the Pyrogale gauntlets, which basically gives it the look of the Sunbreaker Hammer Eagle, which there is no good way to say it. I don't even know if it's named officially. A very solid look and a bit of a lower profile vertically, in case you weren't a fan of the massive smokestacks on Pyrogale. But once again, I will check the other two characters respectively to see what they have. Then we have the modded shell, which is to say a Hot Rod Ghost Shell adding to a pile of other Hot Rod Ghost Shells. I'm interested in what that Sparrow looks like. Next is the Heliotropium, which is to say a solar sail type ship, in case you want to look like you are a space explorer without being a violent space explorer. And next, the Open Sky Tourer, which I believe is supposed to be a kind of retro vehicle style look. It's sleek like an old style Corvette, but also still fast. And the Pocket Ace, the Nerf Ace of Spades, is in the store. Initially, this is only available for silver, but they are deciding to put this one in the store for everyone to buy without actually buying the Ace of Spades in person. And lastly, the Throaty Projection, which is just kind of that. Now to check with our other two characters. Keeping it quick, the Hunters have the look of the Draw ornament for the Lucky Pants, a very Strand look to add to the basic Strand armor sets, just to keep it simple. As well as Luna Powered for Mothkeeper wraps. It definitely is a bit odd in comparison to its original. It doesn't look half bad though, and if you wanted to run an arc setup, this would definitely complement it. Although I don't know if it exactly fits any armor. I'd love to see this one work in the wild though, and to Warlock. First, we have the Don't Look Back for Getaway Artist, which definitely looks pretty solid, and if I recall, this actually has a paired legendary ornament to go with it that gives it some extra flair. Don't know for certain, but otherwise, it definitely looks a little bit better than original, but I'm still a fan of the Cabal scales, so I'll probably pass out on this for now. But next into the list, we have the Coaxial Vine, which is basically just a more traditional armor look for Briarbines, which the original looks pretty nifty, and I think this can fit a little bit more in the traditional armor sets, but at the same time, I think the original looks just a little bit better. Then again, that is just my own opinions. And with that, and our ships floating in orbit, that is the end of the reset update. I hope you appreciate it, or at least are well kept up to date, and I will see you all in the next video.